While Rita is doing that, I'm going to also turn on one more light here that didn't get turned on. Good. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our class today. And we're going to start out today warming up with some footwork the way we often do, just to remember our stances because a stance is so important in Tai Chi. And we've added a stance. We've added the empty stance in the past 2 weeks. So let's first start with our bow step. And we can start with a bow step. I will mirror you. So you can start with your right bow step. That means your left foot will be your back foot. And it will be pointing 45 degrees with your leg turned out with it. And your right foot will be forward on the heel edge with space in between, and you'll move into a bow step. And so when you're in this stance, just to remind yourself, you have horizontal space between these feet from heel to heel, although you have to measure it horizontally. You feel your hip joints open so that the legs are out over the direction of the feet. And you feel stable because this is a good stable position. You have 60% of your weight in the front and 40% in your back. You feel the ground under your feet. You feel you're bubbling well. Now, one of the things we're going to talk about today, we'll be talking about it every week, but we're going to add to our warm-up, is the whole idea of where our relative weight is and the terms that you will hear us saying, which is empty and full. So when we talk about our weight distribution, the full leg typically has more weight, but we're pretty close in a bow stance. So let's first shift our weight back. You remember when we do that, we move our weight back, our hips turn a little bit, and now you feel more weight in the back leg. So we say this leg is full now, more full, and the front leg is more empty, but it still has plenty of weight. All right. So if I shift forward, I change that relationship. All right. And then I can shift back and change the relationship again. Meanwhile, I still feel my feet on the ground. All right. All right. Come back up and remove your foot so you can move it around. We'll shift legs. We'll put the right leg back and the left leg forward with space. And we'll move into that bow stance. Feel that nice open crotch area, leg out over the direction of the foot. So now you have more weight in the front. We're paying attention to that. As we shift back, we change and have more weight in the back. The back leg has become a little bit more full, but the front leg still has plenty of weight on it. Then push with that back leg into the front and down, and you have more weight in the front. All right? Okay, relax. Now we can look at empty full in all different stances in all different directions. Before we go to our empty stance, let's just stand with our feet shoulder width apart. And if you're standing in this position with your center vertical line of your spine, what some people are calling the Tai Chi Pole from Kelly, so that our head's up and this pole goes all the way down our body. Our center's in the middle because we're even. I can shift my weight, and we'll all go this way to your left. I can shift my weight so that my left leg gets a lot more full and my right leg is a lot more empty. It has a lot less weight in it, right? Now it's more full here. If I push on the left leg over, it's like sort of feeling my foot, but I'm moving my body over to the right. I'm back in the middle. I'm equal. And I go to the right. Now my right leg is more full. And I can tell that in part because my heel's lifting up on this side, and I can lift this leg. You don't have to if that's a balance problem, but you could maybe lift it because it's emptier. And relax. So when we have a foot that's emptier, we can lift it better, or we can pivot on it better, we can move it better. All right? Let's review the empty stance that we have been working on. And again, for this portion, I'll mirror you. And we did an empty stance with the heel touch. So you're going to take your left leg as the back leg. In an empty stance, one leg is diagonal and one foot is diagonal and one toe is straight. But instead of it being wide, like the bow stance, it's much more narrow. I imagine a line down the middle, and I have a foot on each side of the line, and have my heel. I start with my heel edge, and then for this stance, I put my whole heel down. I kind of rock forward on it, rock forward, and then I have 30% in the front as I bear down on that heel, and I have 70% in the back. So I have much more in the back. It's more full. All right. I'm going to turn this way to show you again. We'll do it again. You do it with me, whichever direction you'd like. My back leg is at 45. My front leg is a heel touch on the either side of this line in the middle, and I rock 30%. Rock 30%. That way, I'm in an empty stance. More weight in the back. The full heel is on the ground, but my toes are not gripping the ground. They're not on the ground. I do not have to hold up the toe. That's too much energy and it's not part of the stance. I put the heel down and the toes are just kind of hanging up a little bit over. All right? That is my empty stance. Now, if I'm in that empty stance, relax it because that empty stance is hard on the leg. Let's go to the other side. We'll just do it on the other side. Take your right foot 45 degrees. You have to bend a little bit because you're going to put your weight. See, I'm shifting weight onto that leg so that so my left leg is freed up. I can pick it up and put the heel down close, one line, two sides, a center line, and rock, rock. Just so that you see that heel goes down. Now, when I'm like this, I have quite a bit of weight here. So I can't really lift the leg up well, but that's not a problem. If I want to lift this leg, I'm going to have to free up the weight so that I can be able to move it. So watch what I can do. I can move my weight back and kind of rock back so I'm just on the heel edge. When I do that, the back leg is much more full and the front leg is much more empty and I can pick it up. I can pick it up. So when I'm just on that heel edge, it's very little weight. When I'm on the full heel, I can't really pick it up. So when we've been in different stances and we've wanted to pivot or pick up a leg, we have to do something with our weight shifting, and you've all done this. So for example, when you learned single whip and I'm going to do it at this direction so you can see, when I'm in my bow step and I move my weight back, now I have less weight on this front foot and I'm able to turn it. I'm able to pivot on the heel, which I need to be able to do. That's one reason I have to move my weight back. I have to shift it back so that I can pivot. All right? So we're going to see that in our moves today. Now, last week's move was raise hands, step forward, and then we have a wonderful new move that kind of pairs very nicely with it. And so what we're going to do is dive right into practicing those moves today. Then we will put them back into the full sequence of what we've been doing. All right? So what we'll do is we're going to go to the end of single whip, and we're going to go through the move we did last week. I will call you through it to refresh just what it sounds like. Then we'll review it in more detail, and I'll take questions on it. All right? I'll go in the same direction as you to start, even though you won't be able to see me very well, and then I'll turn around for you. All right? So when we finish single whip, we are facing our 9 o'clock direction. We are in a bow stance. So my left foot is forward. My right foot is my back foot. It's at 45 degrees, wide enough horizontally for a bow step. In this particular move, I am not leaning. I have an upright torso. My left hand is a strike hand, straight to 9 o'clock that I can look through that tiger's mouth. and my right hand is my hook hand, made a hook, and it's back towards that corner, and my body's fairly open, but I'm looking at 9 o'clock. All right, from here, raise hands, step forward. Shift your weight back. Now you can pivot on that left foot and turn foot and arm, body to the corner there. Shift your weight to the left and open the hook. Now your right hand is open and your left hand's open. At the same time, you pivot on the ball of the right foot. From here, we're going to move weight a little bit more to that left leg as I circle my arms out. I pick up the right foot and put the heel down. My elbows are bent, and now from here, I rock 30%, close my arms, turn my torso, and look forward. All right, let's do it again one more time. You going in the same direction me, then I'll face you, and we'll discuss some of these details. This is just to refresh you and help you follow me. All right? Raise hand, step forward. Shift back, turn the left foot and arm to the corner. Weight's heavier on the right, but now you shift, make the left leg heavy, pivot the ball of the right foot, and open your hook. As you shift back a little bit, open your arms, circling, heel edge touch, narrow stance, and 30% on the heel, close your arms, and you're looking straight ahead. All right. So this is one reason we were practicing shifting. There's a lot of shifting in this. Let's do it again. I'm going to face this direction. You can watch. You can do it with me, and then we'll break it down. All right? From our from here. Sorry. From single whip, I'm going to face you this way. So check, are you in a bow stance? Are you in a bow stance? And are you striking towards the side? Raise hands, step forward. You're shifting back and your left leg and foot are turning to a corner. My weight's heavier on the right. Shift to the left, open the hook. Pivot. Have you pivoted on the ball of your foot? Now as I shift back a little bit, my arms circle open. And now I heel touch. Notice my arms are coming in, but they're not closed yet. Now as I close them, I turn my torso. I'm 30% on the front foot in an empty stance with the heel touch. All right, so a couple reminders about the heel touch, empty stance. When you do it, let's do it just right over here. When I'm in my empty stance and I put the heel down, my front leg is fairly straight. It is not locked, but fairly straight. Notice it does not have a bend in the knee the way the bow step does. If yours looks like this, you have moved forward, and we can't afford to do that. We have to keep our weight back. So think about your heel going down into the ground. There's a nail there. You're putting it into the ground, pushing down there. More weight in the back. All right? So that when you finish, your weight's in the back, even though your arms are in front of you. The arms circle out, in, and then they close. They circle out, in, and they close. And when you finish, your left fingers point to the middle of your right forearm, and both palms are angled, but they face downward. That's going to change with the next move. All right? So questions about that. Because I don't know, I don't know how well or difficult it was to practice that. I don't know where you feel like with the moves. So I'd like to know if you have questions. If not, we'll practice it and review it, and I'll go in different angles with you. All right. So any questions? Okay, no questions that I hear, but if you have them, please bring them forth. Okay, let's review a couple things about this move. So let's talk about the movement that we have. I think last week I talked about the breaststroke. If you've ever done a breaststroke, You're kind of open and close, back and forward, open and close. So see if you can feel that as your arms open, imagine I see I've got my belt here, my tune belt. Someone's pulling me back there, pulling me back on that belt. And when they pull back there, my arms fly open. It's like, whoo, my arms fly open. So this part of your body, this lower lumbar spine, that waist area that we talked about, that is kind of moving backwards so that you can open your arms. And one reason it's really helpful to think about that is what we don't really want to do is we don't want to lean back like that, because you can see I can go right down. Someone knock me over, I go down on my own. I don't even need someone to knock me over, right? So we don't want to lean back, and we don't want to fly open. We want to have a huge tree here. If my arms are like this and I open, I've still got a great big tree. I'm nice and round here rather than like this. I don't want to be like this, all right? So if we lean back, we're more likely to open up. And we don't want to kind of stand up either. So imagining this belt going straight back is to help us stay at an even level. So let's go ahead. I want to see where I want to put your feet. How about we do it together? I know that I'm not in the same direction as you, but go to your bow step. And then shift back and turn your left foot. Now shift to the right and open the hook. Right, now we're going to practice. We're going to, that issue with the belt. Imagine someone's got your belt. You're moving back and open your arms. And now you're moving forward and closing. And I did not change my footwork. We're not doing the footwork right now. We're just kind of trying to imagine that belt. So again, from here, I shift to middle and turn. Shift back and open. I'm still pretty open here, but I'm going to pull back and open, and then bring my arms forward, and then bring them forward. And my body is coming back a little bit forward, but not so forward that I bend into that front leg. All right? Let's practice with the empty stance as well. Remember that we're going to come in, we're going to bring the heel edge forward and rock 30%. Notice that my legs are close, but they're not crossed. Crossed legs look like this. See how one leg's in front of the other? If I come back, I hit myself. I want to be able to come back without hitting myself. So my empty stance is here. It is also not too wide. It's not like a bow stance out here. So it's finding that nice place in the middle where we've got space. And you're welcome at home. You could put down tape and stand on the side of the tape. All right. I had a little trouble finding my tape this afternoon, so I didn't put one down. But you imagine that line there. All right. So let's go from single whip. I shift back and my left foot turns. I shift back to the left and open the hook, pivot on that right leg. Now, from here, notice you have more weight on your left leg. That is so you can pick up the right leg. Okay, the belt's going to pull you back. Arms open. Pick up that leg. Put the heel down. Rock 30%. Close. All right. If you're new and you're having trouble coordinating all the details, close your arms without a lot of worry about where your hands are. Just close your arms, because body shape and footwork are the first two things that we really emphasize. The hands will come for sure. We're turning our body, and that's going to automatically help your arms know what to do. All right. One more time. Let's do it like that. And then I'm going to turn around. We'll do it in the same direction. Shift your weight back, left foot and arm turn and body turns. Shift to the left, open the hook, pivot that right foot. You have to get it so it's ready to move. Belt pulls you back, arms circle, heel touch, now rock 30%. All right. Good. Let's go in the same direction. You won't see my arms as much, but you can see my shifting. The reason we did the introductory work on weight shifting and empty full is because if you do not shift your weight, you won't be able to pick up that foot. If you can't pick up that foot, you won't be able to get into your empty stance, or else, even if you get into it, you know what happens when you don't make enough of a difference between the legs is you kind of clump. We don't want clumping. That's like clumping down. We don't want that. We want to be gentle, like they talk about being like a cat. And we want to be what's called agile. And agility is you can change your direction and move very smoothly with that and safely. So let's go the same direction to 9 o'clock. From single whip. Raise hands, step forward. Shift weight back, turn everything to the corner. Shift to the left and open the hook, pivot on that ball of your foot. The belt pulls you back, arms circle, heel touch, rock 30% close. All right, one more time in that direction from single whip. Raise hands, step forward. Shift your weight back, and that allows you to pivot. Pivot on the left heel. Now shift your weight to the right, pivot on the right ball. You've opened the hook. Your weight's going a little more to the left leg. Circle, belt pulls you back, heel touch, close. And if you're not already looking straight to 12 o'clock, look straight to 12 o'clock. All right, questions. Any questions about this? Any questions? Okay, how are people feeling about this move? I know it's still new for a lot of you, but how are you feeling? Okay, we got people going like this. That's good, that's fair. And people who are more experienced feel pretty good about it. That is par for the course. We're going to move on, but we'll have plenty of time to keep practicing this. First, let me ask, do people feel like it's making sense what I'm saying about the empty stance? I would say that's the people. Okay, we got some yes. How about some of the new? Yes, okay. That's really important. It's good to sort of give yourself permission to say, okay, first I'll just see if I feel better about the footwork. If that's good, that's great. That's start, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is go on to the next move because it helps us continue talking about empty stances. So we have done one of the two types of empty stances. We have done the empty stance where you touch with the heel and rock 30%, right? But the next empty stance we're doing, we actually use a ball touch. So let me show you the move, and then we're going to break it down. We'll start with the footwork and start from there. It's another move that if I don't face you, it's pretty hard to see. So I'm going to actually start over here from, I'm going to imagine that I have just done raise hand, step forward from over here. Here's my empty stance on my heel. My arms are in front of me. This is called white crane opens its wings or spreads its wings. I'm going to rotate and rock back to free up that front foot. Circle, I pick up the foot, step. Move, I'm turning, opening, and I put 30% down in front of me. And so now I have a new empty stance. My new empty stance is with the ball of my foot. So let's go ahead and work on that, and then I'll show you the move again. Okay, later on. So for this stance, your back foot will be your right foot, and your forward foot will be your left foot. So I'll mirror you on that. So back foot, your right foot. So we'll be in the same direction just for this practice here for the footwork. My back foot, my right foot is 45 degrees. My front foot is going to be pointing straight ahead, and it's still going to be one line in the middle with my feet on either side. But instead of touching with the heel, I'm going to touch with the ball of the foot. So if you put your foot forward and put the ball of your foot on the floor, that's the start. And then the same way that we want a little more weight on the front to be 30%, I push down with the ball of my foot. I push down into the ground. So you can imagine a seed in the ground, and you're pushing it down to get it into the ground. Okay, push. Okay, so give yourself a chance here to just sort of see what that looks like for you. The back foot's at 45 degrees, the front foot it points forward, and there's some energy into the ground from that foot. All right, into the ground. And then I'm going to turn around to show you some characteristics of it. All right? So if I turn this way, I'm just going to face this way. My back foot's still at 45 degrees. And I'm putting my front foot forward, and it's one line, two sides, and I'm pushing it down. Now notice I don't have that bend. It's the same issue. But there is a little bit of bend in the knee. It's not absolutely straight. If it were absolutely straight, well, I don't even want to do it because it locks my knee, but it would push it down. It's mostly straight, but it is not forward. I keep my weight back, and that's the hardest thing about this empty stance is there's an interesting desire of the body to lurch forward, but you have to think down, all right? So let's do it again. Shake it out a little because, again, you're putting a lot of weight onto the back leg. Your right leg is 45 degrees. Your front leg is pointing forward. Ball is touching the floor. Your toes are on the floor. You don't have to think about gripping, but they'll naturally be in there, and you're pushing with the ball. But your heel is not touching the floor. Your heel is not on the ground. Heel is a little bit up. You don't really have to do very much to keep it up. You don't have to actively hold it. It just is naturally up if you've got the ball. Okay, let's shake it out and let's shift legs because it's a lot on one leg. Take your left leg back. Take your right leg forward. Toe is pointing forward. 30%. Pushing into the ground. Is your right leg fairly straight? You've avoided that full bend. Do you have your weight back, sitting back there? That's what you want. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? That's a variation, just another kind of an empty stance. Okay.
Yes. Hey, Judy.
Yes, go right ahead. Is this Dave?
Yeah. So moving from the previous closed stance to this one, where in the previous one your weight was on your heel, and now your weight is on the ball. Is that just a shifting of heel to ball, or are you actually lifting your foot and moving it?
Oh, you're lifting it, and I'm going to go through that in great detail.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so yes, we haven't even begun to really say how we're getting to this thing. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew what we were headed for as far as the empty stance, but it's the correct question because it is the question of how we have to get there. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about how we get there with our footwork. And I'm going to do it in the same direction to start with you on that, and I think you'll be able to see pretty well on that, but again, I'll keep turning around. So we're going to start just with the footwork. We are in an empty stance with the heel on the ground for the end of raise hand, step forward. So your left leg is back, your right leg is forward, empty stance, central line, two sides, and your heel is down, okay? Now, I'm going to turn around just to say something to you because I can't talk to the wall. In the beginning of class, remember I said, if we want to be able to really move agilely and pick up a foot or move it, there has to be much less weight. We have to get the other leg more full. So what we do first here is we kind of empty out the front leg. So here you are, 30%. It's too much weight. I can't move that foot properly. I'm going to move my weight back and rock back onto the heel edge. So again, if I'm forward, move weight back, rock onto the edge. Now from here, I do have some control. I can pick up the right foot, literally pick it up, turn the hip and the leg and the foot to the corner and put it back down in the same place. Then Move your weight onto that foot, the right leg, and pivot on the ball of the foot while you turn your hips. So you've shifted the distribution of the weight. My weight's heavy on the right foot. Now, because I've changed that distribution, I can take the left foot, pick it up, bring it in a little bit, and put it forward onto the ball 30%. All right. We'll do it again, and I'm going to rotate so you can see better. Let me see. I'm going to face this way. I'll walk you through it. Walk and talk. I'm in an empty stance. Heel is down. I'll keep showing you this rocking motion to get it down. And again, I'm not forward. This is the wrong position. Back, heel down. But it's still too much weight. I don't have agility. I can't change directions or pivot. So I'm going to go backward. Imagine your belt helping you go back. Back on the edge. Now it's much freer. I got rid of weight. I pick up this right foot, turn to the corner. My hip turns, my leg turns, my foot turns. That's 45 degrees. I'm still back on the left leg. I haven't transferred any more weight yet. But now I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my weight into the right leg, pivot on the left ball, turn my body. Now at this point, I've really made a nice big turn. And my knee is to the corner, so my hips are a little that way, but my body has really been turning a lot, my upper body. My weight's heavy on the right. The left leg, I now can pick it up. I can put the toe forward. 30% onto that ball. 30%. And that's how I get there. All right? Let's do it one more time this way, a little faster. I really want you to think about the weight shifts because that's what allows you to have the timing here. Weights forward on 30%, just 30% of your heel. Rock back to the heel edge to get rid of weight. Pick up the foot, turn the hips, leg, and foot to the corner. Weight still on left. Push and move the weight to the right. Pivot the ball of the foot. Weight's heavy on the right. Now you can pick up the left foot, put the toe forward, and 30%. Okay, if you are having trouble managing that shift and the balance, you may briefly put your foot down here so that you can go forward. So I'll show you that again. If I'm here, 30% on my heel, I rock back, pick up the foot, turn, put it down, turn, pivot. But this leg is having trouble holding me when I bring the foot in. I can touch, but now I want this foot to go straight forward and 30% onto that. 30% onto that foot. Now, when you do the move, you don't do this little rock and back and forth that I'm doing. I'm trying to show you putting that foot on. So I better stop doing that or you'll think it's part of the move. When I put the 30% down, then I stop. Okay, it's not a back and forth kind of thing. I don't want you to start doing that. All right? Let's all do it. One more time. You choose what you can do. When we move, we hold the weight. This knee and foot have to be in the same direction. I have to have my hip joints open, my quad open, so that it's all aligned because I don't want to hurt myself. All right. Empty stance, heel touch. Back, free up that foot. Pick it up, turn to the corner. Move weight, turn, pivot. Foot comes in, goes straight forward, ball touch, ball touch. All right, now, if that little foot in and forward's a little too much for you right now, you don't have to pay attention quite so much if you're brand new, but I'd like you to avoid this. We don't want this. I step and I kind of wildly swing it out and forward. I don't want that, but maybe you just kind of come forward. Don't worry too much about coming in and straight forward. Just kind of come and go forward. That's just fine. All right. We avoid swinging out in our Tai Chi class. Okay. That's not part of this form. All right. Okay. Any questions about this footwork? Let me just come closer so I can see a little bit. I know I can't see your feet, but I do like to sometimes see your faces. Uh, is that pick up the foot and turn making sense to people? Is that making sense? Okay, good.
Judy, it makes sense, but why do you not just pivot on the heel? Why
Ah,
do you pick it up?
yes, that's an excellent question. And I will tell you the answer to that, as far as I understand it. Um, when, if you pivot, like suppose the move were like this and you just pivot, that seems like it would be really easy, right? And we could accomplish the move that way. But in the meaning of this move, it is meant to allow the person doing the Tai Chi to be in various positions in relationship to an opponent. And when you pick up a foot like this, back, pick it up, I can put it here, but I could also put it here. Or I could put it out here or here. I can put it down in different places, and that might allow me to be in a better position with my opponent. And that's the meaning behind that step. In the way we do the form, we follow the standardized form to practice it. So we just put it in that one spot. But the larger meaning is that it's something sometimes called a training step, where you step in different places. Okay. So did that make sense to you, Linda? Or Kathy? I guess Kathy asked that.
Yeah.
That makes
No,
sense?
my question is different, Judy.
Okay.
Um, when I move forward onto the ball of my foot,
Yes.
it feels very vulnerable. It feels unbalanced. It feels, why aren't we going forward onto the heel, which is
Okay.
so much better, solid?
Well, first of all, it does take a little time to learn to feel solid in an empty stance, but let me tell you a little bit more about this. So first of all, to check yourself, to give yourself the best chance when you're first learning, make sure, again, qua open. That means your legs are not collapsing in, right? The leg and the foot and this hip area are all in that direction. This front foot, it's very hard to really get 30%. It takes some practice. Make sure, if you're feeling kind of vulnerable, make sure that you're not leaning towards the back foot. That is a weaker side. If you lean that way, it will make you a little more off balanced. You still want to have your center here. You're actually thinking towards that and then think down. Now, the question people might have is, well, why do we even have an empty stance? It seems like the bow stance is so solid, right? You feel really good in that. Well, the bow stance is really good for moving towards your opponent. I move here, and then I can move here. Oh, I can move towards you, and I can do things to you. But sometimes an opponent is coming towards me, and the empty stances are stances where you are in place and someone's going to come towards you, and you need to be stable enough to do something where you are. The empty stance here is solid when you learn to get your foot down, and we do certain moves. You're going to see what we do with our arms here that will support us. The empty stance with the heel is actually a little more rooted, and you can really, you do your split energies and things that require a little bit more solidity. But we are not moving forward with these stances. They are not designed to take us forward, so they are in place and we don't bend forward. So I know it doesn't feel as good perhaps initially, but there is a rationale. Because I remember in a class once, somebody did say, well, why don't we just always stay in the bow stance because it's so stable? But it is not, it is meant to be moving forward. Okay? I don't know exactly where you are, Linda, but did that make some sense to you? Okay? All right. Any other questions? Okay, let's talk about the arms, what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about the arms. We have a little bit of footwork that we have to use to help us understand it, but we'll start with the arms. When we start with, from raise hand, step forward, we have our arms where the right arm is up and the left arm is a little bit down, the left arm's pointing, right? You've got a tree. Okay, we're going to talk about what happens with the arms, and I'd like to, I'm going to move forward so you can see a little better. if you remember in the beginning or a couple of different classes, we held our arms out in front of us and we saw that when we move our torso, our arms move, right? They're connected to our upper body. So we're going to keep that in mind. In this move, we start with our hands out, and I guess I will try to, I don't know if I can mirror. I tried mirroring this and got really confused, but I'll start to try to show you. Notice that when you have your hands, so that this is the same arm as you up. Our palms are angled but down. What's going to happen is with a little tiny move of our body, which if you're brand new, you don't even have to worry about too much, but if you're in this class repeatedly and you're trying to advance, there's a little bit of a body turn, a little waist turn that causes our arms to change. I'm going to do my right side to make sure I get the arms right. So we have our palm down, and what happens is they both turn to the left, and my right hand palm is now facing out, and my left hand palm faces towards me. So I'm going to just say rotate your arms, but if you're working on the body, it's not a very big move. It's very small, very small. So let's work on getting the arms in the right place for people who are new. Palms are down, the arms change, the right palm is out, and you see your palm on the left. It's a ward-off hand. All right? They're going to pull down. Okay, you imagine someone in front of you. Pulling down in front of you, okay? Those are your two arms. That starts. So 1, they rotate. 2, they pull down. All right? From there, we're going to break it up so you can see the hands. So take your left hand, okay? It'll be on your other side, but here's your left hand. You see your palm. You're going to swing it as if you've got a little wave to someone in the back. Just a little bit of one. It's not a huge turn. This is not a big turn with your body, not a big turn, but you just swing it, all right? And then the fingers come up, down, and fingers come up. We're going to make a circle with this arm. It comes down, fingers up, and then it presses over, okay? Pressing over means that it looks like this. See, my elbow is a fulcrum here. Press over. So, down, circle, fingers up, press over. Now, the only thing you have to really worry about this is you don't want to hike up your shoulder and elbow. If you did, it would look like this. I come down and see how my elbow's coming up? I try to make my circle. Nope, it's not a shoulder circle. Come down, raise up that hand, you'll see your elbow bend, and then come over. If you are experiencing this class for the many time and you want to work on your elbow rotation there, you can, but you're basically trying to keep that elbow in place and press over, okay? So that's what we're doing. We're down, circle, palm presses down, all right? This right hand isn't going to go as far, but it comes down just the way the other one does, and then it circles and you see your palm. You're just into your ward off. Look at your palm. Read your palm. Down and circle. So this left arm has to do a lot of work. This right arm doesn't do as much, so they go at different speeds, and that is characteristic of many moves we have and is always challenging, that they're going at different speeds, all right? So let's put it together. We'll try them together, and I'll stand at different angles, all right? First, I'll stand front. My right palm is out. Excuse me, I start from raised hands. The palms are angled. The hands are angled, palms down. 1, rotate, right palm out, you see your left hand. 2, pull down. 3, start the left hand circling, slowly circle right, press left, close. All right, now here, this position is a closed position that you have seen before. You've practiced this. practiced it in the very beginning when Rita taught the class, and we've done it. The one hand is over the elbow and the other hand is below the elbow. All right, let's do that again. From angled hands, palms down. Rotate, pull straight down, circle left, press and close. And when you close, you still have space under your armpits because you've still got your tree. All right, one more time. Angled hands. Rotate, pull down, circle big left, press, close. Okay? All right. It's a lot with the arms, but we have to put it with the lower body and the whole body to have it make sense. So let's go ahead and do that. And always keep in mind that we'll be reviewing this next week, and you'll have a chance to look at the videos. So we are, I'm going to stand this way. We are in our empty stance. Empty stance. Heel touch. Hands are angled. Palms down. As we're going to rotate the hands. Just do that little turn and rotate them. As we pull down, we rock back on the heel. Okay? Now circle left. Pick up the heel. Turn, close, and step. They have to happen together. All right, that's the trick on this move. When you pick up that foot and turn it to the corner is when you arrive at your circle closure. All right, let's do that much again. Heel touch. Palms down, angled hands. Rotate, palm out, and then see your left palm. Pull down as you rock back. Start your circle. Start your turn. Pick up the foot, close, and step it. All right? I'm going to do it one more time with you, and then we'll go on. I'll face this way. Hands angled, palms down. Empty stance, heel touch. Rotate. Pull down, rock back, free up that front leg. Circle, turn, close, step. Okay. At this point, your weight is back and you have your heel forward, heel touch on the ground, and you've started to turn your body. I need to show you what comes next and how we finish it up. All right. So I'll do it from here. You can do it with me if you'd like to follow along or just listen and watch as we finish the move here. Angled hands, palms down. Rotate, pull back, rock. Circle, pick up the foot, close, step. I'm angled. I shift weight, pivot foot. My arms are sort of at cross 3 and 9. I start to separate. Empty stance. My right arm has rotated up and my left has pushed down. Floated down, really, here. And I end in my empty stance. Let's look at this empty stance posture here. You know the ball touch here, empty stance. Your right arm has ended up and your left down, but your palm is out overhead. Out overhead. All right? It's not real close to my head. It's not here. I'm not fainting dead away. My hand is out. Palm out. If you do push, here's your push, right? Push arm. And you rotate that arm up, it gets it into the position. That's your push arm. Like that. This is your push arm. If you bring it down, it gets it into position. Okay? So our final position, we have one up, one down. So how do we get there? All right, let's look at when we've been closed. Just look at the arms here for a minute. When we're closed, our left hand is over the right elbow. They start to change. The bottom hand is starting to come up and the upper hand is starting to come down. And then they are in this position where if you were at a clock, it would be 3 and 9 o'clock. So at that position, they start to separate and you rotate the whole right arm up and the left arm floats down. So this arm, if you're looking at your palm, rotating it up means this whole portion, not just your wrist, but this whole portion rotates as your arm lifts. You do have to lift your arm up, but we want to be careful not to hike up the shoulder and elbow. We don't want it to look like this. Woo, that doesn't feel good to me at all. But if it were this arm, it would look like this, right? That brings everything up. We want to keep our shoulders and elbows down. We want to be able to sink down. So again, if we are closed like this, your right arm is in the bottom. Right arm is in the bottom. The bottom one comes up and the other one comes down. Then it starts to rotate, and comes to that finish point. And when they're doing that, we're bringing our foot forward. And at the last moment, 30%. So let's just do that much. Imagine you've pivoted on the ball of your foot and you're getting ready to move it forward. So we're going to be a little bit funny position here, but we'll go it from here. Take your bottom hand, bring it close, start the move, foot forward, touch, 30%. All right, again. Bottom arm up, upper arm down, foot forward, touch, 30%. And that's how you want to end it up. All right? Well, it always takes time to go through this. So I'm looking at our time. Let's go through this move, and then we're going to do single whip, raise hands, and this move together. All right? So just to give you that linking, putting it together. So I'm going to do it from here. Empty stance, the whole raise hands. We've got your right foot forward, left foot back. You are in the end of raise hands. Your right arm is higher and your palms are angled down. First, rotate upper palm out, bottom palm towards you. Pull down, rock back. Circle left arm, pick up the foot, close step. Turning. Now you see how your arms are in the middle? Start to separate. Bring foot forward, 30%. That is white crane, and you've just spread your wings, okay? It's a wonderful move. Let's take some time so that we can do from single whip, okay? And just let yourself, I'm going to go the same direction as you, even though you won't be able to see a lot of my hands. But then when I finish, you'll be able to see me at 9 o'clock. So we're at 3 o'clock after push. 3 o'clock position. My right foot is forward in a bow stance. And I've been pushing. And I'm leaning with my back in line with my back leg. Single whip. First, move your weight back as your hands flatten. There's your belt going back. Turn, bend the left arm, pivot on the heel. Here it's just a pivot. Turn as much as you can. Circling. Come back. Your palms are down, a little lower than your chest. Pivot left ball. Make your hook, ward off left hand. Lift up and step. Rotate, move, and strike. Raise hands, step forward. Shift your weight back. Turn your left hand, leg and arm to the corner. Shift your weight to the left to open the hook. Weight heavy on the left. Circle as your belt moves you back. Heel touch. Close your arms. 30% on your heel. White crane spreads its wings. Rotate those hands. You see your left palm. Pull down as you rock back. Circle the left hand. Pick up the foot. Turn, close. Turn your body. Arms separate. Ball touch, 30%. Now, when you finish, your torso is straight to 9 o'clock and you're looking at 9 o'clock. Right? You're still in your empty stance. You're not bending forward. All right? Okay. Let's just check in with each other. See how you're feeling. That's a big chunk there. How you doing? Okay. This is a beautiful move. So I hope when you know it better, you will become friends with it and that you will like it. Did you have a question, Nedra? No? Just moving her arms. Okay, she's doing some stuff with her arms. Great. That's like in class when we used to have physical classes and people would scratch and the teacher thought you had a question. Okay. All right. Well, this is it's a beautiful move. Now, if you can go to practice tomorrow, you get practice on it. The video will be posted, and then I'll be happy to go over it in detail. Dave, did you have a question?
Judy, once again, what time is practice tomorrow? Is that 11?
It's 11 o'clock.
Okay, thanks. Same
11
channel?
o'clock. It's you have to register for it. So if you haven't ever gone, go to the Young Family, our school site. Do you know where that is? And
Yes.
register for it. It'll send you the information.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Good. And just to remind you, you don't have to do this, but if you ever have specific questions or you need help with something particular before or after class, you can arrange to meet with me or at a different time if you need a little extra help. That's always available to people, okay? All right, let's go ahead and close class with the salute, and then Rita will end our recording. And if you have any final questions, you can certainly talk to me. All right? So, thank you, everyone. It is a privilege, and we'll close class there.
Thank you.